A few more streets and we'll be through. A few more streets and we'll be through.
Okay, hi everyone. Welcome to Walking Down the Avenue. Hey, I'll get to the comments and shit like that later. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Everyone here. Let's say hi to our wonderful guest, Histo. Hi, Histo. All the way over there on the West Coast, while we're in the East Coast of our ridiculous country right now. But okay, let me talk my shit and then we can get started. So the reason I'm doing this and the whole point behind this is basically to shed a real history on what Baltimore club music is. We all love it, we've all heard it, we've all danced to it, but there's not a lot of information out about where we came from with it and where everyone found their story. So through these various interviews, I'm going to interview as many people as I can from all over, but with the big focus on being from here, those people to the front, from DJs, producers, bouncers, bartenders, anyone who is involved with any of the club music culture, period, and just get their story on what it means to them and where it came from, and then from that, we'll be able to trace the history and tell the story the good way. Right. And so thank you, Histo, for volunteering to be the first dry run at this while we take our little walk down the avenue and figure out where this came from. So to start, tell the people who you are. Let everyone know, like, you know, who are you? Who are you? Do you consider yourself as part of that club community? You know, where are you from? All that good stuff.
All right, so people, my name's Histo. I was born in Baltimore, but I lived, you know, around the states. Like, I used to live in Illinois and Houston before I actually moved back to Baltimore after I graduated high school. But I was always influenced about, like, with, like, Scotty B and Black Star, like, just looking at early videos of, like, all the shit, like, Doc and, like, shit, like, even, like, early Mad Decent shit where, like, Black Star and DJ Sega, you know, playing at Mad Decent Block Party, and then, like, the Micro Be Unruly shit that happened.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I do, like, that shit changed my life. But seeing Sega, Black Star, and K-Swift, that, like, literally changed my life. Like, when I saw that on YouTube in high school, I was just like, yo. But yeah, like, but where I come from is like, yeah, I've you know, I've been influenced off of that. And you know, if you really know me, you know, I'm all over the place when it comes to, like, you know, genre rise, but Baltimore has always been something that's just, like, special to me as far as, like, genre and the culture and, you know, the dance culture and all that, you know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know. I guess
with you, so with you, so I know, see, it's a funny interview because you're my homie, so I know you. So I'm asking you questions that I know the answer to, low key. But you named two cities or places. You said you know you were in Illinois, and we know you spent a majority of your time in Texas. How did Baltimore reach you out there? I know you were born here, but how much of that traveled over to where you were at those times when you weren't living in Baltimore to keep you into it? Or was it something that when you found club music, you didn't really find it and get into it until you were able to move back home?
Well, I would visit my father every summer. So every time I go out this summer, like I you know, hear club music on 92Q. And then, like, you know, like early when I started, you know, just like MySpace era. So like I said, like early Mad Decent, seeing like Black Star, Sega, DJ Sega online, like, you know, like you can ask Black Star to this day. Like I used to message him a lot.
Right.
on MySpace asking him if my club tracks were great.
Mm-hmm.
Even
What
though
do you say though?
they were kind of trash at the moment. But like, but no, like Black Star is always like, you know, like he knows me from MySpace.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I always like stay connected. Visiting every summer, you know, when I'm out of school, seeing my father, and you know, listening to 9ZQ. And then on top of that, there was one summer where oh man, rest in peace. And do you know Costa? You remember Costa?
That sounds familiar.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Costa. So basically, he found me on MySpace, and I'm like 17 at the time. So he was like, "Yo, your club music is like dope." And then shout out to James too. Shout out to James. So yeah, so Costa like basically like had a party called Bananas in
Okay.
Baltimore. It was at this place called Bedrock. It's not there no more, but anyway.
Okay.
So, you know, me at 17, Scotty B is the headliner. Scotty
Okay.
B is the, and I literally was just like, dude, after seeing him live and like meeting him for the first time, after just being like, dude, I fanboyed so hard that night. At 17 in a club.
Yeah.
You know, he really made the exception for me to like go there because like, you know, I didn't really realize that my music really was making an impact in Baltimore so early in my life. So,
Right.
yeah, so once, like, you know, and then, you know, I met Scotty B. Like I said, I fanboy. He really didn't know who the fuck I was at first until the next time I met him and he asked me for, you know, my vinyl record. But,
Oh wow.
yeah, but, yeah, like I said, the connection was there from like, you know, the MySpace area, me, you know, going back and forth from Baltimore, you know, Texas, Baltimore, you know, visiting my folks, you know.
Mm-hmm. Can you remember the first time you heard club music and knew what it was? Like, you remember like even like what track it might have been, or even if it's not the first, like, do you remember tell me about the first time you heard club music, like, yeah, this is club music, this is that shit.
You know, like, I just remember one summer hearing something, but if I could just say this, like, the one track that really impacted me, like, that maybe would have, like, start making club music was just, like, hearing early Black Star, like, I can feel it in the air.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, like that, and Get My Gun. Oh my goodness. Like I heard those, and then like, yeah, it was just those joints like really is like grasps my soul, if that makes sense. It was just like but I definitely heard earlier club music growing up. I just didn't know what the titles of the songs were, or anything, in the name of the producers as well. But as I got older, yeah, like some of them were like Techniques and, you know, Boo Man. Oh yeah. Speaking of Boo Man, Watch Out for the Big Girl, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one too. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of those for real. And I had got really big into Miss Tony as well.
Mm-hmm.
As I was like doing like a lot more research.
Through
Yeah.
Who did your research lead you to? I mean, Miss Tony, when you talk about that, we are going back then, because you know that was something that was mainly, she was with this, that was the 90s. You feel me? So it's like that's getting into the earlier age of club music. I like to remind people all the time about how young club music is, and that's one of the reasons behind me want to do this kind of whole research project on it, because club music's like barely 30 years old. Club music is, like the same age as all of us, if not a little bit, a smidge older. So it's like there's not all of the people that you're mentioning, they are actual pioneers to a degree. It's like you bring up Miss Tony, you bring up Boo Man, even Scotty, and even Black Star to a degree, even though he wasn't there on the very, very beginning. Those other people, Techniques especially, were there in the very beginning. So when you were doing research, is that kind of what you got the feel of, or was it kind of like these were songs that were all just already out? Like, were you able to tell the scope of what you were listening to, as knowing that that's kind of like, I know this is going back, we're talking back like what, probably like 10 years now, 15 years almost.
All right, so when I first like really got a grasp of it, I definitely was like, like, yeah, Get My Gun, Black Star era, like, yeah, like that, like I definitely was like, that's when I like. But then like, yeah, you remember I Mean?
Oh, of course, Long Live I Mean. It was the best.
I remember being on I Mean one day, and then I heard the What You Know About Down the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that joint too. But like, yo, like I started like grasping all that shit like in real time. Like once I like really like started picking up, and then I had got my first production software. So like that's when like I was like, but as far as like the older stuff, that was like when I started like, cause like I would always hear like stuff in mixes, like really still to this day, like I listen to mixes, and I'm still trying to find tracks to this day, from the past, like from the 90s. Actually, I messaged you the other day, like you knew this song that I sent you, but but still to this day, like I'm still like digging and trying to see like, but I've been doing research to where like, okay, this is where this comes from. This is where this comes from. And then honestly, like, even with like the beginning of my DJ career and my production career, actually being in the field in Baltimore performing,
Uh-huh.
it helped knowing the research, like being able to, perform, I guess like provide like the right sounds for the people, like
Uh-huh.
it like I if it wasn't for the research that I've done, I probably feel like I would never be able to perform at the, what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I watched so many videos of people DJing at the Paradox, and it's just like I finally did it, and I knew how to do it in each different room, and I played in all 3 rooms. Oh yeah, and I played outside too.
Okay. Yeah. That was a movement. That was a movement. But no, good segue. Speaking of the world famous Club Paradox, where is the first place that you came here? Baltimore club music. The second word is club. So despite the fact that this is a music that some of us can sit around and just listen to, it is an inherently party-based genre, and it is a club-based genre. So that being said, even you not being, this is a good question. I'll ask that next. Where is the first, tell me about your first experience going to a party that had club music in it. Because back in the day, there would be parties and we would just listen to nothing but club music. That doesn't happen as much anymore, but there were events, there were tons of house parties, and there were clubs that were built specifically kind of listening to this music, like the Docks and like Hammer Jacks and things like that. What was your experience with that? You ever find yourself in any parties when you came home to visit or things like that? How much of it translated for it to be the party for you versus you as an artist listening, to the music and seeing it that way.
Yeah, like actually me experiencing it, like, aside from everything. Yeah, it's basically like that one party I was telling you that Costa invited me to, where Scotty B was the headliner, and then like I got to meet Scotty B and just like fan all the way out. But then let me tell you another thing that really, really set it off for me when I went to Mad Decent Block Party in 2010, and I saw DJ Sega live.
And that's in Philly.
And I know he's Philly Club, but at the same time I saw a Black Star there too. But when I like walked into that, like it was just like Sega playing. I was like, holy fucking shit! And that summer, I actually graduated high school that summer, right? So I wasn't supposed to like be in Baltimore. I was actually supposed to be going to college in Houston. I had a free ride, like my auntie like hooked up for me to go to college for free, basically. But then when I visited like I said, I visited my father in the summertime. I went to Mad Decent Block Party that summer, and I was just like, yo, fuck this. I'm about to go hard with this music shit. Like, after I saw that. I was just like, dude, like, DJ Sega had the motherfucking extendo that was this motherfucking thing. I was just like, yo. Like,
I can't wait. I'm gonna have Sega do an interview soon, too. And I know that's probably gonna be some shit because, I mean, he's Sega. But yeah,
that changed my fucking life. It really changed my fucking life, and that's when I knew that I had to take my music very serious. So like with club music and all that, and that's when I wanted to take like my family down south got mad at me for like not going to college down there. I just moved to Baltimore. Just wanted to just know more about Baltimore. And actually going to these places and meeting people. Like one of my first gigs I had in Baltimore was with James.
James Nasty.
Yeah, James booked me on the Mustache Party when it was Mustache. So like that, it was.
And
like
where was that? Where was that party?
It was at Auto Bar.
Right.
Yeah, but then like I think things start really picking up though once Abdu booked me at the Crown. I think that was like some of the craziest times that I had, and then it started leading up to like the Psyched Out shit that I was doing. So yeah, shout out to Abdu.
Hell yeah, I gotta get them in here too.
Yeah, Abdu is like definitely for the culture. Like I really appreciate everything Abdu has done as far as like putting people on. And then
don't talk about me. But so after experiencing club music in that way, you said you got to see it real heavy through the Mad Decent Block Parties. For those who don't know, the Mad Decent parties, they take place up in Philly, in the home of the Mad Decent, and everything about that. We'll get into who Mad Decent is and what Mad Decent is and all of that in later episodes when I kind of break that down. But as seeing club music today and having stock of what it is today, looking back, how do you feel after then coming to Baltimore, experiencing Baltimore? How do you feel about club music based on the fact that one of your biggest and first experiences was on that festival scale? Like you didn't have the experiences of, the weekend house parties and things like that those of us who had lived here the whole time did. You're saying that you saw it after you went to, the Mad Decent stuff, and that's a realm and a venue in itself. Did that kind of cement something about club music to you? I know it gave you the idea of this is something you need to go forward and do, period, so you moved here. But did that give you kind of like a scope and idea of what club music would come to mean?
It did, and then and that's what made me want to move to Baltimore, like all the way. Like I literally just dismissed going to college just to go to Baltimore and just learn everything and actually just be in the field, like really be in the field. Like I really put all my time into, practicing, learning, just learning everything, man. Like I don't really know how to really put it. Other than that, like I really like made that sacrifice after like I saw that now. But like, look, even though that I had started off, like one of my first greatest experience was, at that festival. I wanted to move to Baltimore for the experience, being there more than anything. Like, like I wanted to go to a house party. I wanted to go to the docks. I wanted to go to all these places that was important. And I feel so blessed to even play at the docks before it closed down, and
Yeah, let's talk about the docks. All right, let's talk about the Club Paradox because as I do these interviews, Baltimore, again, for those who don't know, used to be very, very, very rich in venues. It was a like party nightlife city for real. These days, prior to Corona keeping us in the house, it's kind of like we only have a small handful of places where we can go and experience these parties. You mentioned the Crown. The Crown is one, and pretty much the Station North area, period, between the Crown, the Depot, what was Wind Up Space, and even when Club K was still there. We don't have anywhere near as many places to party at like we used to. But the docks, and a couple of other places, they're historic in that these are places that kind of became the home for club music. Like if you wanted to hear club music, you knew there were these places that you could go to specifically hear that. So that being said, I'm sure you knew about Paradox before you actually went. Tell us about your first experience going there, like straight up from like walking through those doors and just coming through. Like, what was that like?
All right, so look, I got two experiences to tell you as far as the docks. So look, there was one summer where before I moved to Baltimore, Mully Man and Boo Man, they were shooting a video there at Paradox, and I used to be messaging them on MySpace. They were shooting. Well, hold on, what was that video? Move Aside. It's like Move Aside or something.
It's not the harder than. No, wait.
Hold on, it's called
I'm
Move
looking
Aside.
for it.
Mully Man, Move Aside. I think this is
It's
it.
not the harder than Baltimore song you're talking about, or is it?
Okay, yeah, do the kids and Mully Man Step Aside. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so I was there on the set. That was my first time going to Paradox.
Okay. And what year was that?
I got to meet, Mully Man, Boo Man. That was like my first time there. I was just like, behind the scenes and like, them setting up and all that. That was pretty much it. But my first time at Paradox, I believe that I opened up in the back room. Yeah, like all the way in the back. And
The Chamber.
yeah, the chamber. So all I remember like going, I just remember just like walking in, like how like in like a Rocky movie, like it's like a theme, like some theme music going on in your head while you like
Right.
going to like a station that you about to kill and shit. That's exactly how I felt, even though I was playing in the chamber. But like, I just remember setting up like, yo, I'm about to fucking kill this shit. I felt so happy, man. Like, I really did. Like, and then, honestly, you remember the rest of that night.
I do and I don't. I remember it, but I like don't remember it. I didn't know. So the event we're talking about is a couple years ago. Myself and a colleague of mine, Sean, mostly him, we threw a party in the docks for Martin Luther King's birthday. It was that weekend. We called it Frozen because it was in the wintertime. And
Frozen was, yeah, that's when me and Gianni played there.
I would say no, this is two different things because you're talking about the Artscape party, aren't you? Which party are you talking about? Now I don't remember because this wasn't Frozen.
No, Frozen was when I was in the main
room. In the main room, right.
Yeah, but like the first time that I was at Paradox, it was like hold on. Like I remember the name of the flight. I remember the flyer, the visual of the flyer in my head, but I just can't remember the damn name of the party. I just know that fuck.
See, that's why we gotta do this so we remember all these important things.
I had to go to my Facebook and like look at all the flyers like from my profile pictures because like I remember this damn party. I just can't remember the name of it. But
it wasn't Paradise, was it?
But it was at Paradox.
Yeah.
Shit. Hold on. I'm going through my photos right now, but Frozen, that was a very special night.
Frozen was that was fun. In the cold.
Cold, and then I don't know, man. Like I just remember just being like.
So the thing about the dots, that's so notable in comparison now, which is I'm about to ask you a question about this, is that the Paradox is huge. It's freaking, it was massive. Like hundreds of people could fit in there, and on nights when it was packed, there would be hundreds of people in there during the party, and everything else. And along with the clubs and situations that we ended up losing over time, because then you never went to Hammer Jacks, or maybe you never went to Choices or Trips now, how it's called. But these were classic nightclubs in which they were big. In today's day and age, even though we still have clubs, like I said, places like the Crown, they're nowhere near that big. Here in Baltimore now, we're pretty much stuck to partying in bars. There are not too many clubs. Do you think that has an impact on the delivery of club music?
I do. Do
you have a preference between hearing club music and like a big place? Because like, yeah, think about the venues you've seen and heard and experienced club music at festivals. You've heard and experienced and played club music in big clubs, and then never mind, we're not even going to get into the stuff that you've done not here. So where we're going to talk about this in Baltimore. And then you've had the ability to play in smaller rooms, in smaller places, but it's still all club music. Does it feel different to you, or do you think that it makes an impact?
It's definitely different. I wouldn't say that. Hold on. Yeah, like I wouldn't say like it's like not in a bad way, but at the same time, it's like, and like I've only experienced like Paradox like just a good few times, but I know for sure that it's different being in like those real time places where like it really goes down versus like the Crown. Like the Crown is like, I mean, I hope this like me not talking shit, but it's just like
shit.
It's the Crown. It's like
it's the Crown.
That's a place where it's just like look, club music goes down there, but that's not a club music spot. Like you can play club there, but is that the real deal? No. Even though you can go there and experience some great club music, like I love to play club music there, but I know for sure that that's not a place like, you know, but going to the docks, I heard some of the best club tracks over there. Like, best sets that I, like, you know, like even like some house party joints that I've been to. Like, I just know that there is a difference between that, you know, and yeah, like I do wish that it was like another venue like Docks or like the shoot. I wish the Docks still existed, but
Yeah.
like yeah, like yeah, if there were more venues like Docks and places that really cater to not just DJs playing the music, but the whole dance culture as well. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like you know, like
Ooh, let's talk about that for a second. I know you're not right. I know you're not a dancer, even though we all dancers at heart. Right, hold on. No, you got it right. The one shake off your one crazy leg over there. But how much how much interaction with the dancer community, have you had and been able to experience? Because one of the things about Baltimore club music that is notable is that it does come with its own form of dance. And you being from spending time in Illinois, I know you're also a huge juke fan as well. Do is there a difference in vibe to you? Do you feel that Baltimore club music has a different relationship or a different type of, or, a unique union with its dancing community in comparison to how the juke and that dancing community goes hand in hand? You understand what I'm asking?
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
first off, I just want to say that the Baltimore dance community is like the best like dance community. And I'm not just saying that. Like, and look, I love like the footworkers out in Chicago, and like I have interest in all these things, but Baltimore has like a whole dope swag to like everything, like when it comes to dancing, and then like even with like the music too, but with the dancing, like I literally just like saw like yesterday I saw this video of somebody like doing like the like yeah, there's like this is dance movement out in Detroit called Jit music, and they
Hmm.
was like the Jit dancing, but then like somebody like came in doing like some Baltimore shit. I was just like, dog, man. Like, it's just like so fly. Like I just fucking love it, man. But yeah, the dance culture is definitely like different aside from everything. And then as far as like Houston, I've never really even I've met dancers in Houston, but like the whole thing with Houston is like the whole screw culture. You know what I'm saying?
uh
Yeah, so like I haven't really, but like being in Illinois, yeah, like the whole footwork thing, but Baltimore definitely has the best swag when it comes to dancing.
hmm Do you think that comes from the music or that comes from the city?
You said as far as the dancing?
Yeah, the swag that you're referencing. Do you think that that's something that comes
And,
because if we can get into that debate, we have Jersey club music, and Jersey club music sounds an awful lot like Baltimore club music, and Jersey club dancing looks an awful lot like Baltimore club dancing, but there is a little bit of a,
yeah,
we have our beef, but it's like,
it's different. I feel you. Yeah, it's different. But yeah, it definitely like the whole dance culture. It definitely comes from like the city, and I've seen it firsthand. Uh, Being around the Be More Than Dance cats, like
mhm,
the graffiti alley, actually like seeing it, and then not just seeing it, like Neek, like you can actually see like how he is really there for the youth and the people coming up.
right.
everybody else. Like I really appreciate people like Neek and Mike Mumbles. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Mhm.
really
Uncle
care.
Mike.
You know, so like I really see that, and it's people like them that really bring out the best in the dancers and the sound as well. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah.
I remember when we went through the run through before, um, because spoiler alert, I actually did this interview with Histo already, like 1,000 months ago, and we're just redoing it in a better way with better questions and stuff like that. But the first time when I asked you about, no wait, I asked you when I was asking you about your first experiences with it. One of the things that you brought up was something that changed you and kind of gave you a scope was when it was Black Star again, but when he was collaborating with MIA. And you said that eventually when that led into you seeing Little John hop on the wave and LMFAO hop on the wave, you were really like, wow, Baltimore is the future. I asked you, what do you think that we would have to do to make that future the present? And even more so than piggybacking off of the thing with the dancers, how important do you think those two are together?
Very important. It's very important. And, you know, I could do a lot more on my end. I've been, you know, but as far as like, yeah, that definitely, I mean, look at how the Jersey's killing it right now with like the, you know, like shit. Like you got all these fucking like viral videos with like the TikToks and whatnot. And not just
Mm-hmm.
outside TikToks, but it's just like still it's like you got these videos that go on viral, but it's like you got the whole dances and everything going with the video as well. Now Baltimore Club Channel has been doing such a great job as well.
Yep, shout out to you. He in here.
Is he in here?
Yeah, he was in here.
Oh, bet. Yeah, but like, yo, like it's gotta be a little bit more than that. But at the same time, I just kind of just feel like, because like you know, anybody can just sit here and say unity, but I just feel like that we really just gotta like really go a little bit harder with more of our presentation, and like we're already doing that. Like I love what TT's doing as far as the Dark City film.
Absolutely.
Larry What Up's film is coming out. Shoot, I even love how what's the film that Will and Jada and you know Meek Mill is in, whatever.
I know what you're talking about. I forgot the name of it too, though.
But it's like, yo, like it's so much of Baltimore like coming out there creatively right now. Fuck with it. So the present already here with it.
Right.
It's just like, we just gotta keep on doing, you know. And you know, I mean, I'm working on my album right now and trying to like, you know, incorporate more of like the feel of the city in it, but like still just, you know, like I don't know, man. Like I just trying to like, you know, I'm really trying to innovate the sound as far as like, you know, me right here. But as far as like the points right now, like I'm really trying to connect more with the city when it comes to expanding and to like, you know, the for it to grow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that's a good point. I mean, with you being, how long have you been over in California?
I've been here for almost 2 years.
2 years now, right? How
Yeah.
do you, that makes you essentially an unofficial, unless you claimed it, ambassador of club music. So tell me a little bit about your experiences as a DJ and as a producer carrying that sound to the other coast, as far as like what the reception of it was, and things like that.
Hold on, repeat that. I'm sorry.
It's good. Tell me about your experience being a DJ and a producer of club music and taking it over to the West Coast and taking it over to that city. And do they get it? What's the response? How do they like it?
Yo, it's crazy. Hold on, like, you know, first off, before I moved out here, it was personal for me. It wasn't more so for the music.
Right.
But starting up DJing and like, you know, playing, you know, club music, even though that I know a few people that do play club music out here, the reception that I got was incredible, and I did not expect for people to actually know who the fuck I was.
And they did.
Yo, like, no, there's people that literally told me about myself. I was like, shit, like,
Like, oh yeah, I did do that.
I you know shit that I ain't even know. I forgot about. But no, like the reception, the feedback, you know, playing club music out in LA, especially when I started my residency downtown, like it was incredible, you know, and like you really felt the love, and it was something people were really interested in, you know, more than anything. And then you know, pre-COVID, I started, you know, seeing more people that were dancing, you know what I'm saying, and wanted to, you know, and yeah, so like, yeah, it's all love out here in LA when it comes to club music. Yeah.
I know one thing I've heard from touring artists, and when I was on tour, I experienced the same. It's a really interesting phenomenon where it seems like Baltimore. So we love club music. We make club music, but there's a lot of people who don't like club music. It's just still strange to me, but I'll deal with it. You know, there's people who aren't receptive to the genre or don't like it as much, and it's always one of those things where when you go out of town, though, people are in love with it, and it's like it's the craziest thing. And it's almost something like Baltimoreans take club music for granted because it is always around us. 92Q doesn't play as much club music as they used to, but for what it's worth, every single day at a certain time you can turn on 92Q, and isn't it like right now? I don't remember if it's 7 or 8, and you can hear Pork Chop DJing club music, you know. So it's like it's like water or like air to us. It's natural, but in other places, it's not that prevalent. So it seems like it's more, it's accepted differently. Has that been your experience too?
Nah, I mean,
Really?
nah.
Or do you think that like it's more better at home?
Honestly, I kind of be in my own world out here in LA, so I don't know how people, I mean, especially like without DJing lately, but it does feel better at home, but at the same time, like I could, like for me personally, like I be listening to like Baltimore club mixes like every other day, like, but when it comes to like DJing here and playing music out, I really never had a problem. Never.
Yeah.
Like dude, like there's this one place called Tenants out here. It's like a industry spot where like a lot of industry people be like, you know, clubbing. I was playing club music, and then like look like you know, Lakeith Stanfield, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, dude, just like, yo, you fucking killing this shit. I was like,
Oh,
thanks.
that's lit.
You know,
No, that's lit.
like I said, I never really had a problem because like, I just think that I just know how to play and blend well. You know what I'm saying?
Right. There's a couple comments. Somebody asked, you know, when did Baltimore stop supporting club music? and they can't catch a set anywhere. And, you know, then Alex mentioned that it's not that you don't think that people don't like it, it's where you can't, it's hard to find now. Remember, like we were saying, there used to be so many clubs where you could just go and you knew you was going to hear club music. Now it's like you have to specifically follow us DJs. And then I know I can speak for me personally. I make people angry because pre the virus, it'd be like, okay, cool, you know, I'm DJing this party, and it's like, that's what's up. But then they come and I DJ and I may not play a whole club music set. And so people are like, what the fuck? Where am I supposed to hear the club music? You mentioned TikTok and things like, you know, what Alex promotes with the club videos. Do you think that club music will be able to survive without a party to put it in? Because there isn't exactly a spot, like somebody, Eric just commented, shout out to Eric, hi Mr. Bassett. He says we need a spot for folks to share new club music instead of just seeing it when a meme goes viral. And it's like, right, the saturation on the internet, that's enough to spread it. But do you think that it can continue to have legs without these dedicated club music spots to party at? Because without the party, what is the club? So if we can't party anymore, what is club music?
That's a very interesting question.
Isn't that rough? Because it's like, people like to say and comment like, oh, you know, like, no, club music died, club music getting played out, da da da, and, you know, like to give all the love to Jersey, which I mentioned Jersey and it might sound like I be talking shit. I'm not. I love Jersey and I love Jersey Club, and I think that in itself is cool shit, but it's not our shit. So I kind of don't, you know, pay a mind to that level. But it's like, how are we supposed to? So much of our early experiences, like, that's why I was asking those questions about the parties and what was your first. So many of these experiences for people, they were introduced to club music in the club or by way of a party. So how do you think that we can continue to further the club music movement, if you want to call it that, and preserve our craft and keep it going? If we might look, and the way the coronavirus is and things are, we might never get a club again. You know, so it's like, what if we never again have a venue or a club or a place that is dedicated to that? How do we move forward? What do you think that we could do to keep it as alive and as thriving as everyone would like to believe it to be? And we know it to be. Because we know the shit is lit. It's tough.
Yeah. Aside from Corona, like, let's just like not think about Corona right now.
Let's not think about the Corona.
It definitely has to live through the clubs, because that's how you're gonna get the experience. But club music being pushed through social media, and shout out the Baltimore club videos on here too. I love out here as far as that too. So like you see that they're getting a lot of attention, and you know, like, that's still making it alive, you know what I'm saying? But I saw the other day that Be More Than Dance had like a little thing at the Graffiti Alley, you know.
Yeah, that was last night.
Like, you know, you can still have gatherings where people can, you know, dance and, you know, get the sound out and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? I feel like Baltimore, you know, I feel like Jersey Club is Baltimore. I'm not even going to reply to that. Anyway, but like, yeah, like, as far as like, you know, keeping it alive, it still is alive. Like, it's out here already. Like, shoot, like, even with like Philly and Jersey Club, like, Baltimore helped birth that throughout, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a matter doing their research and going back, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, Baltimore Club is still going to be alive through all that, all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like,
how important do you think it is to you and also to the city that this genre is preserved and celebrated and continued?
hold on, say it again. You were breaking up.
Oh, I said, I said, how important do you think it is that Baltimore club music doesn't die? Not only just to you as an artist, but to the city, period, and the music that comes from here. Because some people, in passing, you know, trends come and go, and because Baltimore club music is so young, again, we're barely 30 over here, you know, that's not a long time in music language. House music's older than club music, you know, like there's a bunch of genres that's older than club music. So on the blip and timeline of urban music in general, if club music died today, it would just be a moment. You know what I mean?
Nah, I don't know about all that.
Or do you think that
I feel like if club music died in Baltimore, then it just, I don't know. I just don't even want to think about that shit.
yeah, it's
Because, like,
unfathomable.
yeah, no, like there is no Baltimore without club music. It really isn't. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, Baltimore club is always gonna, like, you know, keep on, um, it's gonna keep on getting greater and better over its, you know, like it's already great, but I'm saying, like, it's gonna be an evolution, like, each step. But, like, dude, like, it's never gonna fucking die. It's never gonna die. Like, I know that for sure. Like, I believe in Baltimore club, Baltimore music in general, that much, that it's never gonna die. No.
What would you pick to kind of encapsulate and define club music for someone who didn't know? And you're like, no, it's just the best shit ever. And we can go and make our mixtapes.
Yeah, it's the best shit ever. It has that energy that just makes you want to just move and feel great. Like, it doesn't matter, like, what tone it is. It's like, look, you can have, like, a hard, gritty Baltimore club track that's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck, like, throughout the whole thing, and it's just like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. But then you have one where it's just like, hey, I want to feel good or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, like, you'll feel good, but it's like that bass that just drives you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that bass, the way that, like, you know, depending on if it's like a remix or like something original, the way that, like, it's just like orchestrated all the way. It's just like, it's just genius. It's fucking genius. It
Fucking
really
genius.
is. Fucking genius.
So, any last words and thoughts about Baltimore club music and the history of it, or any pioneers or things like that that maybe we didn't mention that's on your mind that you would want people to know about club music? Or
well, I just want to say that I love Baltimore and I miss Baltimore very much. I wish I could go to a party right now and fake rock off, do a SpongeBob real
right,
quick.
hurt
You know
yourself.
what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know, I am you know, working on my album right now. It's a mix of Baltimore influence and Chicago juke influence, but, like, the Baltimore influence was, like, really heavy into it. I actually got this song where I sampled DJ Techniques on there, but yeah, yeah, the album is called Cosmic. It's a follow-up to my debut project, Young Space Cadet. So I really hope people like it.
That's usually the goal.
Yeah, mean, I like it so far. I really do. It's it's really meant for you to just like you're not on Earth, and for you to move, feel great. It's, I don't know, just feel
Yay,
great.
Uncle Scotty.
So, uh, but other than that, though, for real, yo, Scotty B joined the room.
Yeah.
Yo,
So that,
yo, Scotty, I was talking about you earlier.
right, he spoke you up.
Uh,
But okay then.
but yeah,
Hello.
oh man,
What you think?
yo, the whole bit. But yeah, I'm finishing up the album though, and you know, it's kind of like a dedication to like Baltimore and just like my whole journey throughout dance music, period. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so but just taking it to a whole nother level and innovating with a whole like new intergalactic sound, incorporating Baltimore club music, Chicago house, and a little bit of like the Houston sound. Like I said, just like all around where I've lived at, you know. So yeah.
That's it.
But
I'm excited to hear. When do you have a
yeah.
launch date? Do you know when you're gonna be putting that out yet, or
Um all I know is it's coming out this year.
good enough?
But you know, it's definitely coming out before.
Good enough. All right. So, and my final question.
but but it's almost done. We're gonna be shooting a music video next
Oh shit!
weekend.
Music video coming.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Thanks, Scotty. I really appreciate the comments. Got me happy. Yeah, but we're shooting a music video next week for the single, and we're just gonna go from there and keep on building everything up.
fortunately,
Huh.
you were the first interviewee, so now you have to try to help me pick my second. Who do you think would be ultra beneficial to interview for this project and unlock the history the way that we did today?
Um.
Because I'm gonna tell them you sent me.
I want to say between A Mello. No. A Mello, Mighty Mark, or Calvo.
Ooh, good. Spoiler alert: Mello is the next one. Ha!
And then, or you could, or since Scotty's in the room, you could interview Scotty if he's available.
Oh my God, I would love Uncle Scotty. I got an interview for this thing. It would be my absolute honor because that would be the real one. I have to go find him in person. Go sit over some beers. But yes, all right. So, thank you so much for hanging out with me this past hour, talking about our favorite music. All right, yes. Sector Zero, shout it out.
Sector Zero, Zoned Out crew. You already know.
Word. And everybody who tuned in, everybody who was leaving comments, thank you so much. I don't have a consistent schedule on this yet because I'm still out here getting the interviews together and things like that. But we will be back maybe tomorrow, maybe Saturday, with another interview discussing it and hopefully unlocking this information so that the magical phase 2 of this wonderful project can get started. If you want to be a part of this or if you're interested in interviewing you for this conversation, let me know. And we're going to do it. We're going to put together this idea and we're going to draw this story right. So I'm going to go cook dinner now. I love you all. And I'll see you next time.
I love you all too.
Bye, Histo. Bye, everyone.
See you later, Doug.
How you turn Instagram off? I'm old. Oh, I'll push in. Bye.